Good evening. You're listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rob, broadcasting you 10 minutes late in the Pine House Passages west of Orlando, Florida. I am not in Winter Park with Mr. Rogers, the AKA former Marine sniper here in Central Florida. I do have with me Professor Pixel, young 20-something that was educating backstage and on our previous live stream of Hannibal Season 1's Episode 7 and 8 about what it means to be psychologically visible and all that kind of stuff. Because we saw RDV, and I know you haven't watched the show, but this musician guy like gets his throat slit and he gets the instrument thrown down him, and the guy's like taking his guts out and making strings with it. It was cute for all that too, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the Hound of the Baskervilles or Hammer film tonight starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, except for the fact that, and I'm serious when I want to ask you guys this, growing up in school, we had to read a lot of literature. Not this Frankenstein bullshit shitty ass movie that just came out that Guillermo del Toro did. Mary Shelley's relative was a much better writer than that. Here, we've got one of Sherlock Holmes's better ones, and even though it may seem lackluster as far as the gotcha at the end, I think this is an excellent Hammer film. It was one that we had to read in school, and we were forced to watch the film. RDV, did you have to watch and listen to this growing up?
We watched a movie, but it wasn't this though. I forgot what it was, but I remember either reading it story or watching another version of this.
Gotcha.
And I also grew up watching I think it was like this was probably a cartoon version. It was probably something stupid like Garfield.
Where they probably did like their own one. Yeah.
Their own version, like where's the dog? It's Odie on top of the house. He's trapped, he can't get down. That's how he's so spooked.
Now, I know you're going to go through a couple things here with us, but Pixel, being the young 20-something here, is this something they even ask you to read anymore, or do you even know what reading is in school?
I was homeschooled, so I did read, but it wasn't a...
Nice. Well, the reason why I bring that up, Pixel, is because you and I covered seasons 1 and 2 of what I consider to be the best interpretation of Sherlock Holmes, and that'd be the Granada TV series starring Jeremy Brett. What did you think about initially how these guys were cast? And then we'll hand it over to RDV to get us set up.
I'm so glad that you actually asked that, because when I saw the poster, because I haven't seen this film before, this was the first time I've seen this interpretation. I had the thought that because the poster that I saw only had Cushing and Lee, I thought it was going to be Christopher Lee as Dr. Watson to Peter Cushing's Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
That excited me. I was very disappointed.
I'm not, because they're phenomenal and we get plenty of Lee, but RDV, as I pivot back to you and you get us going here, I'm going to echo something you said last week when you and I were reviewing a Hammer film here, and you just talked about how great you thought Peter Cushing is an actor, and I agree seeing him in here. He's perfectly cast as Sherlock, and I think he owns it. This is a very good film. I've forgotten how good it was, because when I think of Hound of the Baskervilles, there's so many different versions of it out there, but everything I remembered was because of this film. That's how good it comes back to you. What did you think, RDV?
The way before we get to this, I'll just say the way Peter Cushing acts. He's been Victor Frankenstein. We've seen him as Aaron Van Helsing, and now we're seeing him as Sherlock Holmes. The guy's a phenomenal actor, And I said this before, and I'll say it again. This might be a
hot take.
Yes. I like him way better than Peter Vincent.
Yeah, I agree. Peter Vincent's a camp performer compared to Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing's not camp.
I wouldn't say he's camp. I would just say he's got a different way he acts. The way he is more not. I don't want to say vaudeville or whatever, but I mean like the way. I feel like I'm not trying to diss Peter Vincent, but I feel like Cushing oozes more masculinity in his roles.
You know what? He's a little dude, but you don't know that by looking at him. You have to actively look at him.
He's an angry actor.
Yeah,
he does. It's like, he's the guy I would. Okay, I'll do anything you want to say. Just you stand in front of me. I'll walk behind. It's because I wouldn't trust him. And then of course you got the great, awesome, Christopher Lee, who's like 6'4".
Yep.
And I love every movie he's in, a Hammer film, they really emphasize that he's tall. It's Draco. It's always with the camera looking up. It's kind of like what Pixel's doing, how it makes him look taller. But, especially when there's a scene where he's sitting on the bed and he's sitting right across from Peter Cushing. and he stands up, and you're like, oh, that's right, he is that freaking tall. He's like Lurch, but yeah, very, very good movie so far. As we always talk about these, and we always show it, the opening credits of every single freaking Hammer movie is just so well done. You got the little painting, a little model there, and then the font color they use, and it's just great.
Take my money.
I thought André Morell did a good job as Watson.
Yeah, he was a good Watson.
Well,
Chris
one of the things I want to mention about Watson in here is that there's so many different ways people want to interpret Sherlock and this and that. Plus, what hats do they wear, pipes do they smoke, and all that shit. I said to you when we were doing our review of the Granada TV series with Jeremy Brett that what I appreciated the most about Dr. Watson, and I said this and equated it to an old favorite TV show of mine, The Wild Wild West, that I always liked it if you got a guy that's the main dude, that doesn't mean his partner is a B dude. He can be an A dude, but he's not the star of the show. And I thought the balance of those guys, they had natural chemistry, and they were equally confident in their own arenas, and they meshed well together. And I think, RDV, you're right about what we got with him in that today, because that's the right way to portray him, not as some like goof ass or whatever like that. Like sometimes they portray him, right?
Yes, the music on this is so eerie as it zooms in, gets closer till we actually get to the actual sound stage where they have. And everybody knows Hammer. Hammer always reuses the same sound stages.
Yep.
And you really don't notice it.
And living rooms. And we don't care because they look so damn good.
So,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But I said the creepy font. This looks like it's 1959, but it looks like the 1800s when it's supposed to be set. So like I said, I love the opening credits. All of them are always like, and then the font they use is always that creepy kind of like gooey font. Even look at the title here on the font here. The dripping. Okay, go ahead, Pixel.
No, I was going to say that's because it is Hammer, so they are going for those horror vibes still, even though not really.
I think it's actually significant. The dripping, the color of it, how it looks, the yellow stuff, because in the part of the movie, there is something that's yellow. And if you get into it, you sink.
Yes. But we'll save her for that for the moment.
But overall, as I said, like the Beetle sceneries and all the Hammer films, the wonderful soundtracks they do, it is just phenomenal. And then you have, like I said, you have the acting brilliance of Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, and here's the thing. I don't think they stand out more than any of the other cast because they actually do a good job of casting. Everyone else, it holds their own.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're just getting a nobody wimp,
Or that stupid ass character that's a joke on the side. I can't stand that. We don't get that here.
Let's talk about characters. We have Richard Mortimer in here. Francis De Wolff plays him, and I thought it was a very, very brilliant portrayal because everybody who's watched any Sherlock Holmes, knows that Dr. Mortimer becomes the villain of the story. He's the one that basically that is the thorn against Sherlock Holmes in all his stories. What's wrong, Pixel?
Are you talking about Moriarty?
Is it Moriarty?
Yes.
I thought it was Mortimer. Not bad.
Different character.
At this point, what's the difference? They're both doctors, right? You can't trust them. No, but I want to say, Mortimer's through this older movie, you kind of get the sense of it early on though. Like this guy isn't very trustworthy. We also have the old couple, married couple that runs the estate of the Baskerville, and just like, can we trust them? Like, because we know from the very beginning of the story, basically, it leads with the very first Hugo Baskerville, who was a very delectable, a very disgusting,
despicable, godless man.
1700s.
He liked drinking and whores. Let's be honest.
Yes. Well, because he was a noble, he took the peasants. And remember that there was a whole different class stuff. So
that's right.
He was a lord of of the land there, and he basically had kidnapped this guy's daughter, humiliated the guy, and pretty much they threw him out a window, and then he bring him in, and then he burns him by the fireplace, and then he goes in because he's got his daughter in there. He's gonna go pretty much rape her, but she guys goes through the little window and she runs through. Well, we get to the moor. We're not. And they get this nice scenery in there, and I love how it's just set up. It looks like a fallen debris of castle or some other home or whatever.
Mhm.
And he chases her in there, and he has this dagger. She's hiding, and he's getting ready to leave, and he comes out and just grabs her and stabs her. But then we hear this howl. We've been hearing it while he's been walking by himself. We hear this howl, okay, was it a wolf out there? But he ends up getting his throat slashed, get attacked by a dog. And this might be an isolated, occurrence with the dog. But as we know in the story, though, that we learned that every single heir of his pretty much dies either of a heart attack or some kind of curse they place on it. And they even find out in the movie that Peter Cushing learns that Christopher Lee's character has a weak heart. He has heart disease. It's passed down. His uncle had it too, and that's why they're kind of called there. But before, they're in London, and this is where we get to see Sherlock Holmes meets Watson. They meet Peter Christopher Lee's character, and the guy he mistakes him because somebody stole my boot. He's like the hotel. He's like no, this is not who we are. But as they're talking, we see this tarantula on it disappear, and it's zoomed in on his shoulder. And I'm like,
I love it.
I love it because certain scenes it's real, but you could tell then when it's not moving that it's an actual fake thing. And yeah, and it's like so. I love this. So it's like after pretty much Peter Cushing just takes his cane like 3 or 4 times and beats the crap out of it on the ground. They send him off. He sends
that
Watson
is called acting.
Yes, he sends Watson with Christopher Lee to go to the castle because he wants to go move in there. And he's like, don't, whatever you do not let him go at night. Let him keep inside. And I love this because for what we know about Sherlock Holmes, he doesn't tell you the truth always.
Well, the thing about Sherlock, and you're raising a really interesting observation here because it's absolutely true. Especially like I say, if you watch the first couple seasons of the Granada show that we reviewed, you'll see that a lot because he's got ideas, but he doesn't know if they're right, and it's useless just talking about them because he is a man of action. And so when he focuses on something like a missing boot that you think is like, there. You go, well, how is he capable of seeing how that's connected to something and just know that he's in danger, right? And so, but the beauty of the Sherlock Holmes is we don't know it until pretty much they unravel, and you're like, damn it, that's what makes him so good. That what made it so unique, right? That's a great observation there, RDB, too, because it's so true. Because for a big chunk of this movie, you don't see him because all the other stuff's going on, right?
No.
Yep. He goes ahead and sends Watson ahead. Go ahead. You don't have anything coming up, do you? Well, no. Then it's settled. The doctor will go with you, Henry.
Yeah. And I this suit does come into play because this is the outfit that Christopher Lee wears throughout the movie. And then I love how as Watson gets there, with them, and Watson doesn't hear about it, but at first we learn that they're basically an escaped prisoner from Mortimer, and he says like this guy, whatever, I forget what his last name is, but Stapleton is the guy he runs into with his daughter.
Yep.
No, the path.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's Perkins. My bad.
Selden is the escaped murderer. The guy strangled. Yeah. And as we go through this, what's that?
You're right. Never mind. I've stopped speaking now. Goodbye.
I have the wiki pulled up so I know what the names are.
I have the names too, but I mixed up Selden and Perkins.
He basically comes into Sherlock Holmes is the one that runs into Selden and actually has a conversation. It turns out that Holmes actually, instead of going along with it, he said he left he finally confronts Watson because Watson's like, so you're the guy I saw up there when because what happened was basically they were going they saw a light coming from the door, and they heard a girl laughing. They don't know what it was, but they think that because that was a room originally where the girl in the very beginning was held hostage, and she escaped through that window. So someone's trying to play like a ghost, almost like a ghost trick on them. And so Watson and Christopher Lee's character, Henry, I think his name was, they end up going through and going there, and they see a light. So they grab a lantern out there, and they go out there, and he says, "Be careful, because there's a Morell here. It's all quicksand. You don't want to fall in that." Because Watson, there in the day, had already done that. He'd following this girl, Stapleton's daughter, and he fell in there, and they rescued him. They brought him back to the castle. We also got to meet the Archbishop, who's kind of a few shy. A few drinks to the wind, he really loves sherry. I'll have to try that wine if I can find it. But so we got all these interacting characters, and they kind of you're trying to lead you down a path. Is like, hey, could it be these people? Is it the bishop? Is he pretending to be kind of not all there? Is he in charge, or is it all? Are they all conspiring together because they all want to kill him, because they all want the reward for the money? Because when his previous uncle died a month earlier, Mortimer got $40,000 left to him, and then the other two couple that were helping the state only got about 4,000 or 10,000 or something like that.
I think it was 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, something like that. Means
It's still decent money, but it's the whole point. Lee's character, he's the last single inheritance of this rich family.
Yes.
But the rich family is kind of a cursed family because of the patriarch's asshole behavior and rapiness about it too.
So you're wondering if someone's trying to bump off people at this point, it would make sense because he's the last heir,
right?
And why would the old couple be, unless they hated or whatever, some vendetta, kind of covered up? But then again, why would you stick around? I would just leave. But yeah, so they end up going, not Peter, I'm supposed to say Peter Cushing, but Christopher Lee and Watson, and they go out there and they find a light, and it's attached to a lantern there on this wall, and they see something move. And then something happens, and basically, a guy gets mauled to the death, by an animal. They're not sure what it is, at first, and they think because he comes and runs into Watson, or Sherlock Holmes after this, because he sees a figure up there. Or was that before? I can't remember. That was before or after. But he ends up seeing Sherlock Holmes, and they find out Sherlock Holmes is there. Meanwhile, Stapleton basically he's this poor farmer who basically learned that his wife that died in Spain, and the daughter hates living in England. She'd rather be living in Spain, and she kind of when she first meets Christopher Lee's character, she kind of runs away from him, but then he chases after, he grabs her, and then
she gets a little wet,
and then she kisses him. Yeah. But then and he's like, "What the heck?" So then later on, when he goes to see Stapleton during the day, looking for him, and it turns out he says, "Oh, my father's not here." And then he basically asks her confronts her about the kids and all stuff, and she's like, nothing. And then he kisses her, only for Stapleton to show up, and wondering he didn't yell at him, but kissing his daughter, which I was like, okay, this is kind of weird.
Did you notice the look of recognition on his face? You're right. Yeah. He didn't seem surprised, but it was kind of like, what's going on here? You have no idea.
Yeah.
Because he's got that bad hand. He's shown when
it's a webbed hand.
When Watson was out walking around and all that too, and almost stepped into a trap. That's how they kind of met, because he's a poor guy trying to survive out in the moors. Yeah.
The other thing is we find out there's also a painting that's missing inside the Baskerville. We don't know why, but it's a painting of Hugo. We think we don't know. It could be of a Hugo. We just know there's a painting.
They say it's of Hugo. Yeah, the servants say. Yeah, and when Henry hears that, he goes ahead and says, "Well, I don't really care. one portrait is more than enough of that miserable bastard."
Right.
But that's a nice red herring, because it's an extremely vital clue.
Yes.
So of course we have a picture of when he was confronting her at the little.
She's hot, bro. So was the one that
very attractive.
Was trying to get violated in the beginning too. It's the Hammer women.
That is Cecile Stapleton, played by Marla Landi.
Yeah, Italian, I think.
Yeah, Barrymores are the ones who are the servant people.
Yes,
and then Judi Moyens was the girl who dies at the very beginning, gets stabbed. And I thought, I can't remember the actual story about this, but I thought that the girl doesn't escape in the
story
book.
in the movie have some differences, definitely.
Yeah, they changed it a little bit.
Absolutely do.
But you get some really cool scenes in this movie, especially of Peter Cushing. Those eyes, dude.
Those eyes.
Look at that. It's like, ugh.
If you look at his eyes there, guys, one of the things too with lighting and all that, if you're looking at his bigger eye, the one on the right side there, at least from my perspective, you see how that one dominant to the right side of the pupil, that bright white light, and then you have the small one kind of in the pupil a little bit. There's only 2 sources of light that are projecting that. A lot of times now you'll see 3 or even more, and it's very distracting because you cannot actually see the flesh of the eye, the color of it, which communicates all the emotion. Yeah, the muscles around it and all that too. But like you said, RDV, a while ago, and that's why I really wanted to mention at the beginning here, he's very convincing. He is a very assertive, masculine individual. He's got great, I'm in charge energy, and he's very good in that role. He really, really is. And I saw no drop off here of the way different people like to portray Sherlock Holmes, because Sherlock Holmes in the books, the way he's written, is a drug addict, just like after the author. And a lot of the gothic stuff that's been written, no, seriously, all the gothic stuff written usually by rich people, high on drugs, half crazy with syphilis, with madness or whatever. You could argue that's what was being written about here in Helen Baskervilles, the old guy at the beginning. Well, why would he do such a thing? Because he's probably fucked up in the head, right? But and seriously, all the trancy shit and all that too. But the thing about Hammer films, and you pointed out all the art stuff at the beginning, is these are rehashed set pieces for the most part. We've seen them all in some of the Dracula films already, but they just look so damn good, and the writing is great, the casting is great, and just it works. Hammer is putting and creating what Gothic would be for everybody coming afterwards. When you talk romantic, Gothic, this, that, different things, you immediately go to Hammer films, or at least I do, because it looks like what I picture reading.
Okay, what I was trying to say earlier is that Watson and Sir Henry were investigating the light on the moor, and they encounter a strange man who flees in the shadows, and then basically this causes Sir Henry to have a mild heart attack. That's how we learn later on that he actually has a heart disease. What Mortimer says, his uncle had it too. So, and Watson confirms they saw a man. At least Watson had saw before he took Henry back standing up in the
great visual
in the dark. And his guy in like a black cloak or cape, over him, and it's and singing you see him up in the distance, and who's this person? Turns out that it's actually Holmes. Holmes had been there. He said he wanted to do his own investigation because he doesn't trust anybody, especially Mortimer. He doesn't trust the help. He said I want to do my own investigation away from prying eyes. And he reveals that he talked to Selden, the escaped man. So then when they go to confront, the Barrymores, he said, he's like, I ask you a quick question. He's like, oh, what do I ask us for? We told you everything. He's like, is your maiden name Selden? She's like, oh shit. She sits down. He's like, here, have some more wine. Sherry wine. Everybody has that apparently. But and she says, my brother, I love him, and basically Holmes says, well, you must have been very attached to him, and when Sir Henry came here, it screwed everything up, so you were only able to keep him clothed and fed, and that explains why he's wearing Henry's clothes, the man who got mauled. And they find out later on, they find his body, they find it was done by a ritual, kind of like a gut, like a knife. And of course, Sherlock Holmes knows all about the dagger, the original one and stuff. And he when he was in the so basically they go looking for he wants to guys like there's some mines around here, and he asks Mortimer, it's like, yeah, these old mines here. I want if it is a beast, it probably has a lair. So I mean, it's probably what he doesn't really say so, but he says I want to go look in there and stuff. They go in there, and immediately you got Stapleton with his web finger and stuff, and he's with Mortimer, and they really don't want to be out there. They're really just acting shady, and they go, and then as they get in, they're lowered into the mine shaft, and there's a cart up there, and it almost goes forward. So we're like, hold on, Holmes, you go ahead. We'll hold on to the cart so it doesn't roll down and take down all the beams and stuff, the support beams. And when Holmes is in, that goes further down, he finds something. He finds we're not sure what it is, but they let go of the cart, and they're gone, and the mine collapses. And we're shown later on, they're telling Watson, it's like, yeah, he's been down there for 2 hours, it's like there's no way he's alive. He's like, and then Watson's like, that pish posh, because like another guy who's out from the town had said, yeah, you can, with another air pockets of ventilation, you can last up there for at least a good 4 or 5 hours. So it's like, And but as they go around, because they're ready to go back to town and get some more people to help, here's Sherlock Holmes propped up. Hey, what's up, guys? He's doing his best Shawn Michaels, just laying on, what's up, guys? Laying down on the cart. He's like, I hurt my leg, but let's go. And when they get back to Sir Henry's place, he reveals that he has the dagger. This peculiar dagger, but he says he's looking at the dagger. And he shows it to Mortimer. He's like, yeah, you said you seem to know a lot about this and all thing, but yet you don't recall this and this. And he's like, look at this. He's like, yeah, this is you know a lot about the legend more than anybody else does. And for some reason he didn't want to go to the mines because he said, look, it could be, after all these years, it could be really destroyed. But he's like, well, and the way he says it though is like, Holmes, like, before they went to the mines, like, well, how would you know this? You just said you haven't been down there in a long time. So, but he eventually shows the dagger to Mortimer, and he says, look at this. He's like, you know what this is? Like, oh yeah, it's the original dagger that killed the girl. And but then he says, he's like, yeah, but this blood here is less than 20 hours old. And later on, Sir Henry shows up and he's like, hey guys, I want to go to you guys. Stapleton invited us over to go have dinner at his place with his daughter, and Sherlock Holmes purposely becomes is aggressive towards him to get him out of the room, and says like, oh, surely you would have told us earlier instead of waiting now because you waited for the most peculiar advantage because I'm hurt. So the guy storms up, and I love it because this is where Christopher Lee's sitting down, and then he stands up, and you're like, holy crap! It's like, yeah, I'm looking up at you again. He is so freakishly tall. It's just you forget about it in the movie because they're eye level, and I love how they do that with the scenery, camera angles. And so after this, they decided to go down to the moors. Yeah, they go to where I think it's called was it called Daltonmore, or what's it called, the place they went?
Daltonmore?
No, Daltonmore. Dartmoor, wasn't it? Yeah,
I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
The moors, yeah. Well, moor is like swamp, but that's around the town or the area.
Yeah. So so they go there, and we get this cool scene where they're like in the what's left over the castle there, and they both got their little mini guns. I love those little mini guns. Pew pew, like it's gonna do much. And everyone's there. We even get as they're sitting there watching. We see.
There's that green light RDV. Remember the mummy?
Yes. Yeah. I told you it's the same set. And so the cave too. It's the same cave they use setting for the mummy. Yeah, you're right. And there's a big old rock here, and that's of course where the beginning of this movie. It's where Hugo killed the first girl there and stuff. Stabbed her, and then he got bitten attacked by the savage beast, whatever. And I like this because up at this point, you're kind of putting the clues together, but if you're not really paying attention, you don't really know what's going on. At this point, Pixel, do you have an idea who the actual murderers were?
No. Actually, for all of the Sherlock Holmes media that I have consumed, I've never actually watched an adaptation of The Hound of the Baskervilles until now. So
I watched it when I was like 12 or 10, so it's been years. But I know the hammer is going to change it, so right. I was kind of like the ending was a little bit changed drastically. So at this point, Sir Henry shows up with Cecile Stapleton, and they kind of making out, and then she pushes him away. He's like, "Oh, you fool! You think I'm really into you? You think you're the last of the Baskervilles? I'm your cousin, bitch." You've been kissing your cousin, Yeah. My father was an estranged bastard, child, and he basically it's revealed that he's gonna they want to take out Henry so they can take over the estate. They're killing off all the heirs one by one because that estate is worth £1 million. And so Holmes and them are watching this, and then here comes Stapleton, and he has this ghoulish-looking dog. You see it; he lets go. And obviously it's a Great Dane of some sort, or something like that. And it's got this weird mask on it, and it runs and it jumps at Sir Henry, but they're able. get it away by shooting it a little bit, and then of course the scent it goes follows the scent and it goes back over to Stapleton, and just murders him, rips his throat out.
I mean, yeah, he's bleeding, so it just goes ahead.
Oh, he just goes after him. Henry's still alive, and she because what's his name already shot him in the guts. Watson did, because he came up after him, and Watson just shoots him point blank. And after this, he said, like, you know, Watson's like, she's getting away. Don't worry about it. This is after they killed the dog. And Holmes goes over to the dog, and we get this cool looking version of the dog. And you're like, oh, look at it. That's what it looks like. But that's what yeah. But
that's not bad looking. I mean, it's not terrifying or whatever, but it's not horrible. I've seen more. You know what? I'm gonna be honest here. I'm being serious. Let me ask you guys this. In my opinion, I'll take this over CGI.
I want to say this though.
Yeah.
This turned into a Scooby-Doo moment because Sherlock goes over to the dog. He's like, but wait, it's not really a beast. Let me pull this mask off. It's a insurance realtor scam.
That's not a woman. That's a man, baby.
and he's just, yeah. And of course, I just love this. He's like, yeah, elementary man, dear Watson. The dog was wearing a mask and I have a sheep's head, and they make it look like a beast. And then they use Sir Henry's scent, his blood, you know, basically to go after the beast, which only chase him. But they got confused when he had Stapleton there because they're both.
Hence the missing shoe.
Yeah, they ate it. Yeah, yep. And then we ends up like them just basically back at Sherlock's place with their fancy cutlery and just, you know, here, have a biscuit, bitch. I solved another mystery.
Well, one thing I will say this, RDV, that you may not be aware of, but I think they portrayed this well in the TV series that we reviewed a few seasons of, is Sherlock Holmes, the character himself, was one of the first ones that, in my opinion, what I like to call is not a superhero.
No.
Meaning, I know people like superheroes, and that's the hot thing and all that.
He's a Dick
he
Tracy.
was a drug addict, and he could not really function at all. And so,
in his life.
Yeah. Well, you know, having a case that could stimulate him and be worthy of his intellect, how he would express it, he would throw himself into, is very manic. Yeah. So he would go through these spells of it, and they totally ignore all that in here. So they just make him look like a really badass kind of guy, which isn't bad.
Yeah,
it's different than the book for sure.
Yes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the brilliant author of this, also created the Journey to the Center of the Earth, I believe. And did he also do the Lost World?
I think it was Lost World.
Oh,
Journey to the Center of the Earth. Oh my God, who was that?
Was that him? I thought it was said because it seems maybe because it's very similar. I thought that was his.
Well, there was a lot of science fiction at this time because you're having a scientific revolution going off. I'm going to Google that.
It's Verne. Jules Verne.
Jules Verne. There you go.
Yeah, my bad. But I want to point out though, because they're rich, he's well to do. They have the sterling silver, everything there. I loved how the light just shines off everything. Everything's so polished because it's clean, and on the wall he's got all. You can't see it there, but up behind Sherlock Holmes, he has all his little like bottles of different liquids, like we saw in Abraham Van Helsing's kind of place. Yep, opium is in there somewhere. Yeah, I just, like I said, it ended with them just having tea, and then like another. Oh, and he's like, "Hey, you got something in the mail from Sir Henry? It's the missing painting with the webbed hand." Because he had one painting they had with the gloves on, but the other painting is with him without his gloves because the guy was getting carried. He didn't get the fact that he had webbed hands.
Yeah,
because he was rich, and if you said anything, he killed you.
Yeah.
But he said very, very good movie. I would rank this just as high as watching Dracula, or even watching I think it was Curse of Frankenstein. I love all those movies. Pixel, where does this rate as far as Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee? Do you think it's worse than the Dracula's? Do you think it's on the same par with it, or a little bit better?
It's really hard to go ahead and compare it for me because they're just different stories by nature.
Performances wise.
Oh, their performances are fantastic. I mean, Christopher Lee absolutely is this suave young man in here that
he's
absolutely.
He's got more emotion. He's on.
You can
Evening.
You can absolutely believe that some young country girl would go ahead and fall for him that straight away, which is why I didn't even question it. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
This is the first time I want to quickly, because I'll let you go. I just want to say this is the first time I actually ever seen him outside of Dracula or being Frankenstein's monster. So it was actually cool seeing him, like, play a different character.
You haven't seen him as a Saruman the Wise?
Saramanga? That's probably the other one.
Saramanga, but he's saying Saruman from Lord of the Rings movies.
The walking movie with Christopher Walken.
The Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Walken. That's what I want.
Saruman the Wise. Saruman the Fool.
Saramanga was better.
No. Anyway.
Scaramanga absolutely was.
Actually, Scaramanga, he was great. But,
that's the man with the golden gun.
Yes. But anyway, no, he did great. And you know what? Peter Cushing as Holmes is a fantastic choice. It absolutely is. It just fits. No questions about it.
I'll throw in a point or two here in that the thing that surprised me most about on this rewatch wasn't how much I liked it. I'm glad I still really liked it. Still think it's one of their better films in general, whether it's horror or not. And I was really impressed with Peter Cushing. The stock continues to rise. I like how he was the star of the movie. Not that demeans Christopher Lee, but for some reason I always think of Christopher Lee. It's a Christopher Lee movie, and Peter Cushing happens to be in it. I didn't get that vibe at all. So hats off to Peter Cushing. And the other thing too that I'll say just about the movie itself with the plot, forgetting specifically what happens there, is that when we see the second hot woman, who seems like, kind of, she just shows up while the guys, walk around the moors or whatever, because she was kind of watching him and following him. But you can see a look of recognition in her eyes, even though she doesn't do a lot of speaking. It's like, okay, she's really eyeballing the guy. So she has this look of, I know who you are or suspect who you are. So what I always say about that, and the cool stuff too that the mind does, even though it's a really old school trick, but the whole idea when they're in the room at night and they think they see a light way out on the moors, and we get the faraway shot. Okay, I love that stuff. I don't care how cheap it might be to do, but them going out looking for it. The point is there's an intelligence behind it, and you don't know what it is where it fits, and that fear of the unknown is what allows you to feel it. And RDV had made a comment at the beginning about how the music kind of did a good job of adding up to some tense moments here. I think it did. And look, the ending's not supposed to be scary to me. It's just supposed to finish it, really. So I look past how cheap the dog might have looked or any of that kind of stuff. But I think it's a great movie. I really, really do. If I were to say to somebody, hey, go watch a Sherlock Holmes movie, not TV show, this would be the first thing I would say. There's several of them out there too, but this happens to be, I think, the best one.
So there are some really, I'm looking up the Wikipedia. It actually does list the differences for the novel and the axe thing. So in the original novel, the father of the farm girl who's kidnapped by Sir Hugo Baskerville is away when Hugo kidnaps his daughter. And then it says in the novel, the girl escapes. Baskerville is chased across her in the moor, and his companions find the girl dead from fear and Hugo killed by the Hound. Obviously did that. Also, there's no heart condition thing whatsoever in the novel. And then if you're looking in it says there's no attempt on Sir Henry's life at the hotel. There's no ritual sacrifice. There's no tarantula, no mine shaft, that other stuff. So Hammer really is adding in a lot of cool stuff, and I think it actually added a little bit more flavor to the novel. And then also, rather than being Stapleton's daughter, the Miss Stapleton is Stapleton's wife in the novel and is played by the part of his sister. She does not hate Sir Henry as she does in the film, and is far more sympathetic character in the novel. Cecile in the novel is named Beryl and is an unwilling participant. So they changed that because we always like the evil, beautiful woman. That's what Hammer does.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I know, right? Also, here's the thing I also remembered too about this. Yeah, and I forgot about this. In the novel, the dog is a normal dog, but they use phosphorus paint to make it look white, the ghost. But the film does it with a mask in the And it was a Great Dane. They confirm it. That in the novel, Frankland is neither the bishop or an entomologist, and it is Stapleton rather than Frankland, who is acknowledged expert in entomology in the novel. And Stapleton does not get mauled to death after being shot by Watson in the novel. He simply disappears and presumed to have drowned in the Grimpen Mire.
Here's the question: when are we going to start the Extreme Book Club, where we can go ahead and
Well, I'm just saying, because
we can start reading these and go ahead and talk about it.
We do this all the time. We have compare things. You know, we get a little more in depth. As you get older, you'll learn to do that. And the last thing I'll just say is that Mortimer is never put in charge of watching over Sir Henry in the novel, and he's not considered negligent by Watson when Sir Henry ventures out in the moor alone. And he's more admirable, unambitious, and absent-minded young man. So they basically just did make him look more like a suspect for the movie. And certainly also the Conan Doyle estate did not approve of the changes made to suits Hammer's more horrific centric success. Cushing, however, took no objection in the changes, as he felt the character Holmes remained intact. And that's the last fact I got. So
no, I wasn't complaining about facts. I was saying, when are we going to start the Extreme Book Club so we can? Don't you want to read a book?
Sir, you have to be around to do a book club.
Oh, damn you for being right, son of a bitch.
Son of a Baskerville. No.
Son of a Baskerville. Son of a Hound.
Final thoughts. Very good. I liked what they did. The fact, even though Conan Doyle didn't approve of the changes that the film made, I think Hammer, the fact that they keep Sherlock Holmes kind of angry, but also more, he was still kind. He was kind to Watson. He was kind to other people.
Well, again, it's just more that they didn't enjoy some of the decisions they made, like the webbed hand with the missing portrait, and then you have the sacrificial altar, which is a weird choice.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they thought it was very demonic. I don't know what the religious beliefs are and stuff. At the time when this was made, 1959.
What was the estate?
Yeah, 58. So, I mean, on that time, you had a lot more Protestant, church-believing people back then. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we talk about the standards here in America. They were even tighter over there. So they tried to push the limits with sexy women and the gothicness and all that stuff. They tried being very unique, but they really had a lot of constraints, too.
Yeah. So this was really pushing it. This is 1959, the same year that Dracula came out. And also The Mummy came out. It's like, see, you had all these different Hammer movies being launched. They did like 3 movies in 1 year. That's crazy.
Well, also too, you and I talked about SRDV when we talk on the Extreme Classics where we review old films. I always go back to Humphrey Bogart. Number one, I go right to him, not anybody else. No matter what your movie is and all that too, you could film a movie in a month or two. You could do 2, 3, 4 movies a year and still have 6 months of the year off. Now movies take. We're going to get the script. We got to get it proofed by everybody. It takes a couple years to do this. It takes blah, 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 blah. Then the years go by. Tight, quick, cheap, efficient. Have your crew on it. Bang that shit out. Knock it out in a month or two. That's all you really need. And the only reason why it goes longer is because of all the union stuff in it that requires you only can work so many days and this and that or whatever. Back then it was a little bit more freeform, even overseas. So Hammer definitely, I think, based on the success of what they're doing, not only did they establish that they're the leaders in like adult gothic stuff, it doesn't have to be graphic, doesn't have to be whatever. If you're a young kid watching this, you might feel a little scared because it's tense and you don't know what to think. As an adult, you can see some things, but it doesn't have to be very like X-rated or graphic or exploitive. And I don't look at it that way, but I agree. It's totally different than Universal take, and it's more engaging to watch. It's a vibe to me. It's an atmosphere. That's what Gothic always felt like. I think they really captured it in this film.
Do you know what the great thing about this? That pose of like you look at Christopher Lee on the right there, really looks like Nicolas Cage. I can't unsee it. I ruined it for you. Yeah.
God, what if he played Christopher Lee in a biopic in a couple years?
In a Dracula movie?
But no, but here's the thing. He's tall. I mean, Lee was legit like 6'4", 6'5", I heard. But I know Nick Cage is tall too. He's at least 6'3" or 6'4",
Nicolas
6'5",
Cage,
right? He's massive. He jacked up at one point, and then he lost some weight. Well, was it the Rock he jacked up for? Something.
He played a vampire in Renfield.
He was Dracula in Renfield.
Renfield was
was atrocious.
Well, they were going for more
It was
comic camp.
hilarious.
I get it.
Yeah,
I understand
and
it.
if they didn't like a Hammer film version,
And then he did what was it? He did The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I loved that movie.
but if you look at him also back when he did Vampire's Kiss, that's another treat. But yes,
we talked about Pig on here, didn't we?
Yeah, we did talk about Pig.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you guys really porked that up, that whole entire conversation. It's all about truffles. It's all it came down to, because the guy wanted
truffles.
Yeah, it's fucking truffles.
God damn it.
He loved that pig.
Nothing but truffles, that pig. All right, though. Final thoughts, Rob?
If you're going to get involved in Sherlock Holmes, you're going to see a lot of different interpretations. I think if that's something that interests you, you owe it to yourself to see a lot of different variations of it, because at this time, you're going to start to see different characters of the basis of all the things that we know today when it comes to detective stuff and all that. So all the more modern movies, even if they have Brad Pitt on a train with people and martial arts and all these hybrid kind of bullshits, they go back to certain stereotypes, and Sherlock Holmes is definitely one of them. Or you could argue Hercule Poirot and some others might be some, but the Sherlock Holmes basically is one of the gold standards there. So whether you like this kind of movie or not, or performance, you do some due diligence by watching this, compared to some other performances out there, different takes of it. I mentioned the TV show with Granada. There's a Charlton Heston version out there that's some people like too.
Yep.
There's a lot of interesting things to do about it. And I do appreciate the fact that we know, for the most part, they may not be great movies. They're usually not horrible, but they're going to be entertaining. I've told you guys forever, I could do nothing but Hammer films until that cycle runs out. Hammer, to me, is what Canon was in the 80s RDV. I'm just going to give that to you.
Yes. I also want to point out that André Morell died in 1978, but he did a lot more Hammer movies, like, in the other ones.
A lot of them did, yeah.
Shadow of the Cat, 1961, The Mummy Shroud.
They did do an occult one, I think, a few years later.
Yeah. I thought, was he also in Doctor Who?
Who? Peter Cushing?
No, played Marshall.
Morell.
Andrew Morell. I played Marshall Tanvas in the Doctor Who television series. Sorry, The Massacre. Yep.
Well, like a lot of things British, the older it is, the better it is, because we know nothing new as far as Doctor Who's any good, right?
Yeah. Look at it. Born 1909. Died age 69. Probably. So, oh, yeah, he died from lung cancer. It says he smoked up to 60 cigarettes a day.
That's only 2 packs.
Until he gave up in 1966. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. Yeah.
Not like chronic, where it's like a lot stronger, you know?
Did you say only 2 packs?
Yeah. I think
60.
20 or 30 that were in a pack back in the day. I don't know if that's changed since then. So it's
I think
it was a pack.
Yeah,
I know many people that smoke 3-4 packs a day, like 20, 30, 40 minimum. 1 pack a day would be a light smoker back in the day. Not joking.
Well, here's the thing too. Pipes.
No, it's 20 in a pack.
You could
3 pack a day.
I think you could pack more tobacco in a pipe than you could through doing cigarettes. I mean, so whatever. But
I don't know. I don't smoke.
That'd be an Eric Brina trivia question in the Daily Double.
The pipes smell terrific. Oh my god. Oh, they're up there with cigars. Yeah.
Yes and no. I had a friend whose dad would smoke, and he'd always light his freaking pipe up while we're in the car and the windows are up. I'm thinking like, thanks, buddy. That's what I want. Big, just whoosh. You couldn't. It's like Cheech and Chong. It's like, roll your freaking window down and smoke outside. But
things that no longer exist in today's society. Smoking in
no,
school.
I was gonna say this. So I had no problem with people smoking indoors. If that's what establishment owner wanted, that's what he wanted. You go somewhere else. That's the whole point of capitalism.
But it looks great in film.
Oh, that too, yeah. But on top of that, if you're anti-smoking, don't watch this movie, because this movie has a lot of cigars just puffing back and forth. This guy sitting around and enjoying it, the good sweet nicotine in the tobacco. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Inhaling. They inhale, unlike Bill. I did not inhale.
Big So, I'll buy you a cigar and some scotch, and we'll see how you handle it. First try's on me.
I would say the scotch would probably be better for him. The cigar, one puff might take him out.
You gotta have both. Yeah.
I know that. I know that with a cigar, you don't inhale it. You don't get it into your lungs, but it's still in that vein of like
tasty, yummy. I'll get you a good one. I don't give you the cheap shit. I'll take care of you.
I'll get you the wine cooler one, the one that tastes like grape, little Zix.
Stop it. That's offensive.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday. To be determined.
Tulsa King Tuesday.
If you're there, I hope you're there. Otherwise, it might be a special Eric Breen night. We don't know. Later, guys.
Bye, everybody.